I got this Pixel clock not because I needed it, not because it's practical, but because it looks like this. And then it became part of my daily work and gaming routine. What's going on today, Internet? Selfish here with Retrospect. Welcome to the Divoom Times Gate, an RGB clock that does everything to help distract you from your daily life. But will it help out your KD? Probably not. Let's take a look. Before we get going, I want to give a shout out to Divoom for sending me this Timesgate for a fair and honest review. No money exchanged hands, and all opinions are of my own. Let's check this thing out.
All right, let's take a look at the Timesgate here. This is the box that it comes in. I'm not going to rotate it a whole bunch just because really the important stuff's on the inside and it's pretty cool. So I did open the top of it up just to make sure that it was in here. I also asked for pink. Wanted to make sure I got a pink one. So here we go, because I do have this other one that we're using here in the background. And this is a real awesome unboxing experience. It's also a very cool thing to get somebody as like a gift, partially because of the unboxing experience, but you really can tell it's a high value product. It is very fancy for a clock, though I rarely really use it as a clock. I use it for pretty much everything else, and we'll take a look at that here. And here we go. So once you pull it out of this case, apparently it's taped inside of here too. There we go. There's nothing else in the bag. And then we are in some wrapped plastic. If you remember right when I did the Ditto, that one actually came in a little refrigerator, which is my 1-year-old's favorite toy to play with now, is that refrigerator. Sorry about the crinkles, but almost satisfying because it is that really high quality plastic. So what you got here is just kind of their thing. It's kind of funny because there's actually plastic wrap over the top of all this stuff. So if you really wanted to, you could get really into the nitty gritty and start pulling off all the screen wraps on all the things on here. We don't need to do that. There isn't a ton else on here. It just talks about the FCC stuff, kind of normal stuff you see when you get stuff, but we do have our seal here. So this is telling us that it is new. It hasn't been opened. I wouldn't have expected it to be open coming directly from Divoom, but you never know. And we are going to open her up. Then you push down here and she opens. Woohoo! Oh, that pink is really cool. It's weird because I like pinks and purples and stuff now that I'm an adult. I really kind of hated them when I was a child, but now that I'm an adult, I definitely am a fan, and it really fits, especially the purples really fit in with a lot of the retro stuff. First thing we'll do is we'll take a look at this here. We do have a braided cable, I do believe. So this does come with a braided A to C cable, and Divoom has put their name on it as well. So this one's not going to get separated or lost. And then before we look at this, we'll take a look here. This is even its own little package because, you know, why not? And this is not an origami accordion, but it is an origami flip book, so I'm cool with that. Oh, it actually almost looks animated. I don't know if I can catch that on camera. There's a lot of really good information in here. I would recommend mostly just using the app, but there is some good information in here on how to do resets and stuff if you aren't connected to it through a phone or a tablet or something like that. I'll be connecting to it through my iPad. You know, that gives you options on how to make changes without actually having to be connected as well. And then we do have a pass. So this did pass inspection. Doesn't say who inspected it, but that's okay. And we'll get to this cool little box out of the way. I mean, this thing is just quality. Wow. And here is the Timesgate. I do really like because it's got the white and like the silverish white on here. Yeah, this is a good color. I don't know if this was available last time I tried to look at one of these, but look at that. The purples are in the inside here too. You can just see the mechanics of this. You can even see the connection to each one of these LCD screens on the inside from the back through the see-through part. It really is like a modern retro vintage kind of thing. That was a lot of words that probably shouldn't go together, whatever. And we're gonna just take off this piece of plastic on the front. This is what is covering the screen and all that stuff. I don't think it's gonna be satisfying, but we'll try. Maybe a little bit. It's a static screen. Well, it's much bigger than I thought it was going to be. And there we go. Gosh, she's pretty. All right, let's dig into this thing a little bit more.
The amount of detail on this thing is absolutely phenomenal. So now that we got it all unboxed, I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what this thing really looks like up close. And they have put little touches in here and to really make it look technical. So they have like these little things over here, the 4th generation divergence meter. So I think it's the same. Nope, it's different on both sides. So they have different things on here. Multi-universe, use with caution, open the wormhole. So they have all these different like Timesgate type things. And then on the back here, you do have the time traveler, which is how you plug it in. Pretty cool. You do have your speaker back here as well. And it's kind of cool. And I don't know how much we're going to be able to see these little panels here on the video. The panels on here are actually like little Apple Watches. They're about the same size, and they're all these little panels that are throughout here. What we have here with these panels on the other side is 5 1.4-inch IPS displays at 128 by 128 pixels. You can get pretty defined as far as how much detail is actually in your images if you want to make them, or the ones that you find on there. Typically, you're going to see something in pixel art that's going to be 32 by 32 or 64 by 64. These here are double that, or quadruple, depending on which of those it is, at 128 by 128. So again, they're like little Apple Watches, and that's kind of what they look like inside of here. Some stuff, though, unfortunately doesn't look ultra realistic because it is pixels. And I just wanted to give you a quick example of that. So from a distance, this looks really cool. You know, you have that bulb thing going on. I can't remember. Are they Edison bulbs? I can't remember. But it looks really cool. I actually have some light bulbs like this, not for a clock. And you can see in the background how they pixelated in what the other things would look like. But when you're close to it, it is very much pixel art. So it's very much not these types of bulbs that are in here. Now, they do make awesome, crazy clocks that are in this kind of same exact space that would have those actual bulbs in there. But then you're sacrificing everything else that you can do with this clock. So if you just want one that has those bulbs, they're about the same price. It just doesn't do all the other cool stuff that this does. But unfortunately, this just doesn't look as good if you're trying to go for that aesthetic. Now, you still get the aesthetic. And as long as you're more than a couple feet away, it looks really good. It's just once you get up close, you can definitely tell that this is just an LCD panel that's in here. It's not the actual bulbs. I'm scrolling through trying to find something to just have as a background that's not so distracting on this tablet right now while I'm trying to demonstrate this. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this guy. Everything's animated for one. I was trying to go non-animated. What is this guy doing? Just playing with a sword. So what is this thing? The Timesgate's basically a smart display that does pixel art, weather, music visualization, notifications, and even syncs your phone via Bluetooth. It's like if a Tamagotchi evolved into a streamer and got a side hustle as your desk assistant. That is, if we ever open this thing. It's got to be starving in there. Setup on the Timesgate is actually pretty easy. You just pair it with the Divoom app, and then you scroll through millions of community animations. Like, boom. Now your clock shows minions doing what minions do. What's really cool is whatever you decide to stare at on the screen was actually created by the pixel art community. And as a retro gamer, I absolutely love my pixel art. Now that you're in the app, you can set widgets like weather, calendar, timers, even notifications, like you're being bullied by a pixel cube. And it's really simple to do. So you can do individual screens, so each of these awesome screens on here, or if you want to do something that is already pre-chosen for you, there's all these multi-screen packs. So up here, you do have the options of a single screen. So this will be single screen. You can choose all 5 screens. You can make it do other things like change your brightness and stuff with the far right option. If you go far left, though, if you want to do something simple like a cyberpunk theme, all you'd have to do is decide, okay, which one do I want? We're going to go with that one. It's going to give me some Bitcoin information and stuff like that, but it's also going to give me my weather, the time. Look at that. Now we've got all of our Bitcoin stuff on there on a cyberpunk theme. Maybe I follow the stock market. You can preset your stocks to whatever you want, and now it's going to give you the stocks with a similar cyberpunk theme, but it's going to have stocks, weather, and things like that. And you can go in actually and individually change these things. So say you want to go in here, you can change, if you're looking for Fahrenheit or Celsius, what kind of Bitcoin, Ethereum you want to choose to follow, what kind of stocks that you want to follow. You have the option to really tailor this to your needs. Say you do a personalized screen that syncs with your phone. You can get notifications from emails from your boss. Also, it'll tell you if it's raining. Also, if you're late. Also, it'll toss in your face that your KD sucks on Fortnite. That's what it does to me. My kids make fun of me if I have my game tracking one up because they're way better at Fortnite than I am. And then if you want to personalize each screen individually, like I typically do, you can come in here and you can choose what you want on them. You know, we just did that minions guy, so we can just hit the button. It's already preset in there. We're going to see the minions. You can also get that by just pressing this mode button right here on the top if you've already set it up. I like it when it says retrospect because I have 2 of these. If you've been around the channel for a while, you know I almost always have one of these on my desk because it's an integral part of my process for the day, of getting all my notifications and things as I literally sit in front of a desk all day and jam away at trying to rip handhelds apart. I very rarely get a chance to actually game, but when I do, then I can just switch it over. It'll track anything I need to know for my gaming. So here it says retrospect because I thought it'd be cool if it gave me a channel shout out. Also, I got to choose all these or make them or whatever. I think I'm actually gonna have my kids go through and make them. I've had one of these for a while now, and I don't know why I haven't had my kids create the pixel art for one of these screens yet, but now I'm rocking 2 of these things. And I just actually have them sunk up at different parts of the house. And I have these set up with pretty much the same notifications just to keep myself on task for the day. But that doesn't mean the screen's always the same. So I might have the screen look completely different, but use similar notifications on each device. I don't recommend getting 2 of them. It's not necessary, but I'm a little extra sometimes. And I just love being bullied by this little pixel cube. So let's go through and I'm going to show you exactly how, if I stop bumping the camera, I'm going to show you exactly how easy it is to set one of these up. So I have this one hooked up to the pink one here. If I hit the plus button, I can decide what I want on each individual screen. As you can see, there are little fingerprints across here or little button pushes across here. Each one will be a different screen. Now, my screen now in the background here, it does say please add data because I have nothing on this new screen yet. So if I go into the gallery, this here is going to be like the widget gallery, and I can decide if I want social media on there. I can track my YouTube, which I do on my other one as well. You have the option to see your subs, your view counts, all that kind of stuff as it goes up and down throughout the day. Still have the time, still have the date, and still have the weather rocking all at the same time. But, you know, if I want to give myself a little pat on the back, I can see that. By the way, 20 away from 5K. If you don't subscribe yet, I know you're watching these videos, so you might as well just hit that sub button and help me get over that hump. Thank you very much. So now we'll see how fast that this actually uploads onto the screen. I don't know which camera's going to be easier. My bottom camera seems to be shaky today, but we're going to figure this out. I don't use TikTok, but say I want to use one of the socials, I can go to Twitter. Now, if you hit this little button down here in the bottom corner, I can set up this Twitter account. So now it's on the screen there for me, and I can see it says to log in. And all you gotta do is go over here and you'll log into your Twitter account. And then once you log in, it will show your stats on the screen up there. I'm not gonna give you guys my login, so I'm just not gonna log in today. But maybe I changed my mind and maybe I want that one to show me YouTube. I can do that too. And that's that same screen. Now, this is showing me the view count for the Divoom Pixel 64. Apparently that's the default down there. Okay, now I go to the next screen and I wanna choose something else. So I can go through and choose all these different things. If I wanna see my Amazon Music, I can put that up there, or my Spotify, I can put that up there. If I wanna go to the next one and so we'll hit the button up there if we want to go to the next one and we want to hit, I don't know, we'll pretend like I have a Fitbit. Oh, we can do my heart rate sensor. So this will actually sync up to my watch and it'll give me my heart rate sensor. And we can do that. So we can put that up there. Did I not select it? There it goes. It'll pop up there in just a second. Maybe I want a picture on the next one. So this one's pretty easy too. And all you have to do is go up here and you can see these custom ones. You hit custom and you hit that little thing at the bottom. And you can choose multiple pictures. It'll kind of scroll through them. Let's say we'll go to the Pixel community. Now you're going to see all these things from the Pixel community. Now this is a fairly high resolution screen. It's kind of like having a little Apple Watch back there, so you actually can use more than just pixel art. I tend to stick with things that are more pixelated than this particular picture. But say I wanted to alternate with this picture and maybe a second picture. So they'll go for a certain amount of time and then this little dancing girl will pop up. And then maybe I want, I don't know, we'll see how much trouble I get myself into. We'll go search and we'll go and we'll look for, we'll say Mario. And this will give us stuff from Mario. So maybe we'll get a little pixelated Mario from Mario Kart. We could do that. We could also, there's another Mario Kart one on there, but we can get all this stuff to pop up on the screen almost instantaneously. So instead of this, what we're going to do is we are going to back up and we're going to get the last screen set up now. So that last screen, maybe we want to create an image, or maybe we want a visualization. So there's a visualization meter here. This actually shows you the decibels in the room. So see that? We're seeing the decibels in the room now, which is kind of neat. Say there's a channel that you find in the pixel art that you really like. So one of the creators on there you're really a big fan of. You can actually follow that individual channel by going in here and choosing that channel. And then every time they update it, you will see that art pop up on the screen. Now we also have on this main screen here, we can go through and see all the stuff that's out there already. Or if you go back to the front screen where you first were in when you set this up, you can change different things. Like if you wanted to use this as a scoreboard, if you saw the link for this little bad boy, there's a link down in my thingamabob for it. You can set up like a score clock and stuff like that. You can do that here as well, where you can have it count up and count down as a scoreboard and it'll pop up. So this is an option as far as setting this up onto the screen. You also have, so as you add and remove things, you can actually do that directly here onto the screen itself. Now, some other things, this is like something I set up for Easter just for fun for my girls, just to have some fun little artwork for them. I thought it was pretty cool because there's some cool stuff in there. But beyond that, you can hit this more tab here. You can create your own pixel art on here. So you can use one of the millions of pixel art apps out there, or they do have a pixel art app built in here. Now, this thing is a little bit cumbersome sometimes. I'm not going to lie. It can be kind of a pain in the butt. But if you do want to draw on here and create your own pixel art, you are able to do that. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's, I don't have a clue what to draw, but you can make it animated or anything like that on here. We can make like a, I don't know, a little tree, a little stick man. Okay, let's make that, okay, let's not do that. Let's make that more of a leg. Let's, maybe the stick man was a little dangerous. Here, we'll back it up to, okay, so now we got all the stick man. I really can't do this stick man for some reason. Stick man, yay! And then you can save him if you want to, and you can make him onto one of your screens. We can add some more stuff to the base, things like that, but we can actually make this guy now one of our screens on here, if I can remember how to do it. Now, I could have animated him, but I didn't. But look, he's right over here on our screen now. So it's pretty simple to do. It's just a matter of taking the time to do it, which I have yet to find the time to do it myself. But I do often find myself scrolling through the library of millions of art pieces that other people have created and changing these things all of the time. Now, there's a lot of this you can do directly from the device itself. You do have the option to use the buttons on the top. You can change things like the lighting effects around the outside. So here we're now in a solid red. We'll get rid of a little background light so it's easier to see. So we have a red. We have one that's changing. It's fading in and out of an orange. So we can do all that from here as well as on the app. We can change those effects here on the app as well. You can have it fade in and out. You can do all that kind of stuff from here. You can also change with these. And then you do have that mode button again, where you can just hit that. It's going to change back to my minions because that was the one that I had after this. That's going to be available for you too. So really, really cool little device. I use it a lot for the YouTube feed just to see what's going on. I'll scroll to this every once in a while throughout the day. And I also have this one, which is kind of my social media feed. Also shows how bad I am at Fortnite. And then I've got this one that's almost always scrolling in the background if you watch my videos. I change the pictures on it all the time though, so let me know if you ever see something that you really like. Maybe I'll leave it on there a little bit longer. But I am constantly changing the pictures in the background. Some other things that I've set up is my sports. So I have a lot of sports that I follow. And none of my teams I don't think are playing right now. But we can actually go through here, just hit the mode button a couple times, again, without using the app. And we will be able to pull up my sports tracker. And so what you have here is my sports tracker. So I'll have this playing a lot of times so I can see what's going on with my favorite sports teams. Also with F1. I don't know a lot about F1. I'm trying to get into it. So I just kind of have the stats and stuff kind of scrolling by so I can see what's going on there. But there's no football right now because we're out of season. And then we also have the NFL, NBA, and MLB I follow typically. My MLB one usually alternates with the F1, but the Twins aren't playing as I'm recording this, so we're not seeing anything right there. Maybe I should have recorded it this way for you guys. Would that have been easier? Whoops. So here's the deal. I actually use these things daily. And like I was saying, I use them for time and alarms, ambient lighting sometimes. One of them is actually usually in our room, so it's kind of a cool little light that can work as a clock as well. So that part's pretty cool. Also using it as a productivity tool, kind of. It's mostly for the vibes, but definitely for productivity when it comes to when I get some notifications and things like that. It is nice to be able to have them pop up. I'm a visual person, so I can't hear as well as I used to be able to, so the visual notifications definitely are helpful, and those do pop up right here onto the screen. So if you're looking for some RGB to make you a better person in life, this is definitely a win. So let's go through some pros and cons real quick. So I think it looks amazing. Community made pixel art is mostly awesome, though occasionally it looks like my 18-month-old made it. She's cute and I like her art. I don't think that's going to help you out with your retro streaming drip. I find that the widgets are extremely useful, especially when you find widgets that really do tie into what you're doing every day. Pokemon is getting strangled back here. What the hell? What the hell, Pokemon? I do find that a lot of the widgets are extremely useful as part of my daily routine, whether I'm gaming or if I'm actually trying to be productive. It keeps me on task or makes me really disappointed in myself when I can see that my kids are beating me. But I think it's great for like that desk and stream flex. It's a really good setup item for that. So if that's all you're looking for is some extra flex for your setup for streaming, perfect. If you're looking for something for productivity, as I just stated, I think it works good for that. There are other things out there that'll work good for that too, but I think that's one of the things that works good for this. As far as the cons for this go, there's only a couple of things that really kind of throw me off about this. So it needs to be plugged in all the time, which is cool. There are actually some apps that you can download to your computer and use the USB on here and plug it directly into your computer. And then you're gonna get your CPU temps and usage, RAM usage, stuff like that. So that is kind of cool that you can do that, but it does need to be plugged in order to use it. I always think that that's kind of a downfall in today's unplugged age. And it does come with that USB cable, so if you did want to plug it into your computer, that's great. But if you don't, it doesn't come with the power brick. So they might assume you're plugging it into your computer. I'm not really sure. In the literature I found for Divoom, they don't really talk about any of the third-party apps, but if you go on GitHub, you can find plenty of apps that actually do work with the Timesgate. So there are some cool stuff out there, depending on how you want to use this, because you can really tailor it to yourself. Divoom doesn't stop anybody from doing that either, which I think is phenomenal for a company, but they also don't give you that brick for charging in case that's not what you want to do. So it feels like there's a disconnect there. The app itself too, as you could see when I was going through it, can be a little bit clunky, and that's unfortunate. And I've been using Divoom products for a couple of years now, and they haven't really updated this app. It could use a facelift. Until you get used to it and find where things are, it does take a while to find things, and I'm finding new things all the time. In fact, when Divoom sent me the pink one, I found all new apps that I hadn't even been using before, just because I thought, well, let's dig into this a little bit deeper. That's when I learned about GitHub apps out there. But I also just found more stuff that I could do with the app from Divoom that I wish I would have known a long time ago. So now I'm getting a lot more use out of these, which is fantastic. But it's really kind of hard to find stuff unless you take the time to sit down and actually dig through it. And the only other problem I have with this is sometimes it occasionally seems to stare into my soul. Like it knows when I need to be doing something and it keeps trying to make me do it. And it knows I'm not in the mood to do something, but it will force me. And it holds on to me. And you know what? It's a good thing, but it's also a con because sometimes you just want to slack off. So now the $1 million question. Is it worth it? If you want to boost your setup, flex some pixel animations, or just own something that makes your desk feel like a gaming lounge, yeah, I'd say it's worth it. Totally worth it, actually. But if you're looking for raw productivity, it's no Google Nest Hub. It can get the job done in its own way. If you want the vibes and vibes only, though, welcome home. Get yourself the Divoom Times Gate for sure. If you're interested in picking up the Times Gate, I did put some links down in my thingamabob. Those links do help support the channel, and I do thank you in advance for that. But that's all I got for today. Hit that like button if you've ever bought something just because it looked cool. Subscribe for more weird tech reviews, gaming setup chaos, obviously some handheld reviews, and what have not. Share this video with your friends because sharing is caring. It also helps grow the channel. And leave me a comment down below. Tell me what your first pixel animation would be. Mine apparently was a stick figure that was looking kind of inappropriate, so I had to make him look really dumb. He would have looked dumb anyways. Whatever. Once you're done with all that, check out one of these videos here on the screen. YouTube chose them for you specifically based off of you. I cannot talk today. Once you're done with all that, check out one of these videos on the screen. YouTube chose them for you based off of your algorithm. So they obviously know that you're going to like them. And they're probably mine, so they're obviously going to be good. I hope they're mine. Yeah, I hope it's giving you my videos. Anyways, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.